Welcome to our episode of Happier at Lap of Love, where we get to dive into what it's like being a Lap of Love veterinarian and get to know the incredible doctors on our team. Joining me today, I have Dr. Miranda Shaw up with us in Chicago. Dr. Miranda, I'm excited to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here, share my experience that I've had with you guys.
Good. So how long have you been working now with Lap of Love?
It will be 3 years in March. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's incredible. Do you feel like there's been a number of changes within that time frame?
Like yes and no. Like yes, because like obviously like life is always changing. But
Right.
like no, because when stuff does happen, like my day-to-day in largely is not super affected. I think because of when I started March 2nd of 2020, and we started COVID protocol March 14th. So it wasn't a huge shift for me. It was just kind of like, oh, well, this is like how we do my new job now. And then we kind of settled into COVID, and then we kind of transitioned into this post-COVID
Era.
world that we have now. Yeah, like throughout kind of that whole experience, while like there was a lot up in the air sometimes, and like we had drug shortages and we had doctor shortages because like people were getting COVID, and we had all of these things going on. The nice thing about this role is that for the most part, your day-to-day is solely reliant on you. So it's like while leadership and support, we're behind the scenes trying to figure out like how do we manage doctors who get COVID? How do we manage families who have been exposed to COVID? How do we manage pay? How do we manage gas? Like all of the things. It's just like, okay, y'all got it. I'm gonna just go to work and like read that email when y'all send it.
Right? That simplification is beautiful. I loved taking off the 100 hats I used to wear when I was working the ER, and we get to wear one. It's great.
I just have to at 9 o'clock, regardless of what else is going on. I just have this one appointment at this one time. Someone else's job to worry about everything else.
Yes. So, okay, tell me a little bit about where did you start your career, and kind of, I guess, what prompted you to explore with Lap of Love?
Yeah, so I guess my first job out of vet school was in a small animal practice, like a small animal clinic. Just practice. You know, you go get your vaccines, get your ear meds, get all your things, get referred to a specialist if it gets crazy. Like that's where but I knew that wasn't like my forever. I was more doing that for the experience. When I was in school, I was truly interested in industry. So companies that like pet food companies and like pharmaceutical companies, working kind of behind the scenes, but again, needed that experience so that I could be qualified to do those jobs. So while I was out telling myself I was getting experience, it was like killing me. I hated it so much. It was so stressful. I had so many problems with just like the way things were being run, with the way just everything. And we all know, like every vet knows what it's like to be dealing with all the things in a small animal clinic. So I was kind of at the point where I was just like done. And I was on Facebook at work, and one of my classmates was just like going on and on about like, I love my job and I have an amazing job. And I wonder. So I sent in the little like notice thing where it's like, send me more information about this. It was something that truly had never even crossed my mind until I saw my classmate's Facebook post. And then when I started kind of looking deeper into all of the things the job entails, I was like, oh, I have a lot of autonomy. I am in more control of my own schedule. I have a better work-life balance. That people actually thank me for the work that I'm doing. So it was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then the other benefit to that is it's like I still get to be that practicing clinician, but also it's like I found this middle ground between a practicing clinician and an industry veterinarian with some of the stuff we deal with on the other end, as far as how we're managing our schedules, like the soft people skills that we use on a day-to-day basis, and like how that can get into other stuff. I was like, oh, well, yeah, obviously Lap of Love makes sense.
I've never heard someone kind of describe it in that way, but it's true. Like I think about, there's so many components to working on the industry side of things, in which as you said, the soft skills are super important in engaging with colleagues and connecting with people on a deeper level even, but then you still get to directly work with patient care. Mm-hmm. So that's really neat. I like that perspective a lot. What would you say in your experience with Lap of Love, what have been kind of your favorite moments or parts?
I would say my favorite parts it's the random stuff that happens throughout the day when you're not actually at work. So, most of our appointments, most of us are finishing up our appointments in under an hour or so. So it's like in that in-between time when you kind of get to decide what you want to do with that space, whether it be, you absolutely close records, send emails, do all of those things. Or if you're like me, you're like, what can I get into while the sun is up? So I have had lunches with friends. I've gone on epic bike rides. I've rollerbladed. I've, gone to like museums and conservatories and like all of these things because I had an hour or two in the day to spare. I mean, or sometimes just take a nap and it's amazing. But like, you kind of get to decide what to do with that space. And it's like, Love gives you kind of these parameters to work within. And as long as you're still operating, within your contract, essentially within what you said you were going to, the rest of that time it's like solely up to you. And, that is like a luxury that you just don't get. It's not just in a clinic, it's in a lot of jobs. You just don't get that type of freedom to say like, I'm going to go do this work now, but then I have this space to go do something for myself. And then I can circle back and go back to work and then circle back and do something for myself. Yeah. So it's those moments that are my favorite. I mean, we do have like a lot of touching appointments and we have a lot of good moments with our families, but that time to myself that I just never had at another job. It's just like unparalleled. So
I think like I always consider it freedom of time, right? Yeah. And I think that's been almost potentially a generational shift of like maybe younger veterinarians. Like, of course, we want to be able to make an income that puts food on our table and allows us to live the quality of life that we desire and pay off our loans. But also at the same time, that freedom of time element, I think, has become really important recently. Yeah. And so likewise, that was one of my favorite parts, and just being able to see the sunshine in your workday, right?
Outside when the sun is up.
Oh, yes. There's so much to be said about wellness, being able to see the sun, and as you said, take those moments for yourself, which is, that's really important. How are you supposed to give to others if your own bucket isn't full?
Exactly.
No. Okay. So those favorite moments. You've been working with Lap of Love for 3 years now. When you think about kind of before you started work here compared to now, do you feel like your life has changed at all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a life now. I didn't have a life.
Yes, I love it.
So when I was in small animal practice, I was still working 5 days a week, I believe, 4 or 5 days a week. But it's random days. So it's never like you work 4 days in a row, you're off 3 days. No, it's like I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, random Saturday, put a Sunday there. It's just like all over the place. And, would be in the clinic till after 7 sometimes, and then anxious about all the surgeries on the schedule the next day. And so, I get home, barely feed myself, maybe getting a workout if it was a really good day. And then I go to bed. And then on the weekends, like I'm sleeping, or maybe I have time to do something like exercise or grocery shop or laundry, but I'm trying to prioritize like staying alive. So then when I made the transition to Lap of Love, it became like, you move from like survival mode to thriving mode. Right now, it's like I have too many options on what to do with my time. I have made too many friends, and now everyone keeps inviting me outside, and like, I don't have money to go to dinner every night. Like that is, so it's become like we've shifted from like, I can't do anything because I physically do not have the capacity, I mentally do not have the capacity, to I can't do anything because I just can't be in so many cool places at once because I have other stuff I want to do, like over here, but there's also something to do over there. And so I realized that like kind of honing in and focusing on like trying to do adult stuff is like harder in this role, because you just have so much freedom to just like go do whatever and have fun. And I always want to have fun. I always want to be doing something that isn't work or productive or whatever. So yeah, that's been the
Life
biggest.
is short.
Yeah.
Have you picked up any new hobbies since you started working here?
Not new hobbies. I have just kind of gone deeper into the ones I already had. So I road cycle. So anytime I get the opportunity, I am on my bike. So this job is really cool in that if I have a big gap in the day, I can come home and do an hour or more bike ride and then come back and go back to work. On the super busy days where I can't come home though, I keep my rollerblades in the car. So then
Nice.
I just stop at, if I have less time, I'll just stop at a park and like just skate until my time's up. And then, go back to work. So I definitely have become like more active and outdoors in this role. I go to playgrounds a lot. I go like swing and do the slides. As long as no kids are there, it kind of gets weird. But yeah. I would say I really just kind of focused on like the outside and being active and just like doing all the stuff I couldn't do in a clinic. Like I can't bring my bike to a clinic. I can't rollerblade in a clinic. So, and then it's nice to be able to take care of all that stuff in the middle of the day. And then when I get home, be a lazy couch potato and do like all of those admin tasks, like closing records and answering emails and all that stuff after I've had a super active day. So.
Right. Oh, that's incredible. I love seeing your photos of when you post like the park photos on the swing, because I admire that. I actually, the other day on my run, I ran by a park and I hopped in a swing. I was like, we're gonna do interval here. We're gonna run, swing, run. So no, I love that.
It's winter now, no park, but I'm looking forward to something.
Absolutely. Well, if there's a doctor out there who's interested in exploring with us or considering, pursuing end of life care with Lap of Love, I guess, are there any words of wisdom or advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Just know yourself. I think on the most basic of levels, like from a skill level and a knowledge level, like I think most veterinarians would be capable of doing the job just off of that. But from an emotional level, from just like a mental capacity level, and from a like how you like to run your days, or how your brain as far as organization or your ability to be flexible and things like that, those play a much bigger role, I feel like, in your happiness here than the actual difficulty level of being an end of life specialist or end of life doctor. Like Lap of Love has an excellent retention rate, but I feel like when people do say this isn't for me, it's because they went into it not truly understanding who they were and what type of work they were truly, and what type of work schedule they were truly capable of handling. Because everybody sees, they see the competitive salaries, they see the bonus, they see the fact that you pretty much are working a 9 to 5. They see all of the benefits that you get as far as like the healthcare things offered and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, I absolutely do this. Oh my God. And then they get here and they're like, they scheduled me an appointment that's 45 minutes away. And it's like, well, yeah, but so.
Right. No, I think that's so spot on. Like, know thyself. Recognize, like, are you that person who needs to know your day before, like the night before, and like you have to know how the day is going to flow? Are you able to go with the flow? Like, are you able to pivot as needed in your work day? That's such a great point. But Dr. Miranda, I know you're a busy woman, and Chicago is probably in need of you still today to care for the pets and the people. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. I love talking about, what I do and sharing all the ways that like I make it work for me. That is like one of the best things about this job is you can make it work for you. But again, it circles back to knowing yourself and, you know, being able to capitalize on that. So